tell us a bit about the project and why you're particularly studying men and recurrent SCADs?
There are a couple of reasons we chose to study men. One reason is that we have a strong suspicion that there are hormonal influences in SCAD with the known links to pregnancy, phases of the menstrual cycle. But clearly there are other reasons that people have SCAD as well. It's not just hormones. And we're hoping that by studying the male group, we'll in essence tease out factors that may be relevant that don't include hormones, so that it may give us some more general information that's applicable to the whole SCAD population. Another reason is simply that this is a group that hasn't been studied. This is known as a women's disease, really. And although obviously there are issues in that women's diseases aren't always studied as well as they should be, we also don't want people to feel that we don't study the men at all. And we thought it would be interesting to find out about these unusual men who do get SCAD. So those are the two main reasons, really. For the recurrent SCAD, one of the reasons was to try to increase the power of our study. So we know we can't study thousands and thousands of people, and it may be that we're looking for relatively subtle changes between people with SCAD and others. And so we thought, we don't know whether this is for certain the case, but people who've had recurrence may be people who have more marked features of SCAD, whatever these turn out to be. And so that by studying with a small number of people, we may be more likely to find the differences in this group. This is a hypothesis, essentially. It may just be bad luck that people have recurrence rather than anything different about them, but it's something that may make the study more effective. And then the other reason is because we'd like to get more information on these people with recurrence, compare them to the general cohort, see if there is anything different that might enable us to predict recurrence.
How many patients have you seen so far and healthy volunteers?
As of today, we've seen 32 men with SCAD, 9 male healthy volunteers, 19 women with recurrence, and 11 women healthy volunteers. But we've just been able to start recruitment again, having had to pause it because of COVID. So we are, hopefully we'll be increasing these numbers by the time of the conference.
What would be your priorities in the next few months?
I mean, I think that has to be the main priority, partly simply to have the data to analyse, and also in case there's another lockdown or whatever, and we have to stop recruitment so that we have as much as we can by then. And then once I've recruited the patients, potentially once I've finished the male cohort, I'll work more on the analysis and the statistical side of analysis to hopefully get some meaningful results.
Is there anything findings-wise that you could share with us at all?
So as I've hinted at, really, everything is being done blinded. So of the specific phenotyping study, I've deliberately not identified the patients so that when I identify them, I'm not biased by knowing the person whose scan I'm looking at has had a heart attack and things like that. So no, I don't have any results from that specific study. I know some people have seen the abstract we published looking at men with SCAD. And what we saw there, that was just a comparison of looking at the data on the people in the registry. And basically we saw that most of the features of men with SCAD were fairly similar to women with SCAD. So they recover well in the same way, tend to present in the same way, the same vessel tends to be affected. But we did see a possible hint of an increased recurrence rate in men. And I don't want to jump to too many conclusions about that because it might be biased by the fact that men are less likely to be diagnosed. So perhaps they're only diagnosed on the second event and things like that. So before we assume that that's the case, I think we want to look at that. But certainly that's something we want to explore and look at in more detail in the male patients.
Has the research helped you to identify in any other avenues? Is it opening up more questions?
So I think that will be something I can answer a bit better when I've analysed my data, and it will either show us that things that we're looking at, things like autonomic function, are definite avenues that we should pursue, and perhaps do things like looking at brain function and things like that. And that would obviously be the most exciting answer, the most exciting thing for me. Or it may do what is equally useful but less exciting, which is to show that none of these aspects are any different in SCAD patients, and therefore we need to explore other avenues. And obviously that's less exciting, but it's also useful because it shows us that these are avenues that we don't need to pursue anymore. So I think hopefully in a few months' time I'll have a better answer to that question.